It always does it when we record. Last time we tried to record, it was black. We lie, man. What's going on, Stacy? Can you hear us? We trying to make sure we ain't got no technical difficulties like last week. Can y'all hear us? Let us know. Make sure I play some tunes for y'all. It's the Russell Show today. I don't care what Brandy talking about. You see she MIA. It's the Russell Show. We're going to be getting started here in a minute. What's going on? What's going on, Kels? Hey. Welcome. Let's get some tunes going, huh? Let's get some tunes going. There you go. We're going to be getting started here in a minute, y'all. Do us a favor, share when you come in, please. Randy will be here in a minute. What up, Brittany? What's going on, LaKendria? Y'all, I got a special guest in the building today. You won't believe it. Ooh. She's here. Yeah, what we looking like?
There's 12 here.
We got 12.
It ain't 12 talking to me, but it's 12 here.
Y'all know y'all supposed to let us know when y'all in the chat so we can shout y'all out. I'm ready. You want to get started?
Yes, let's do it.
Alrighty. Let me go to my live so I can make sure I'm on here.
Oh, wait, I didn't share it.
See, look.
I was upstairs, though. I have an excuse. Thank you. So far delayed.
Man, it's so good to see y'all. What up, Shaniqua? Sierra, what's going on? It's so good to see y'all.
I can't design.
Tamika in here. What's going on? What up, though?
You said Sierra was in there?
Yep, she's on here.
Logan says, what's up, Russell?
What up, Logan?
Hey, Mish. All right, I'm ready.
All right, we're going to get started, y'all. We're going to shout you out here in a second. Bear with us. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Russell the Fourth.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Brandy.
And welcome to another episode kickback of the What They Never Told Us podcast. What's going on? We're here with video this time. You see what I'm saying? Like, see how we correcting the mistake? It's a video of us this time because, we hit record. But as always, when we're live, we got the gang with us. We got to let us know who is with us today.
I'm seeing Stacy, Chels,
Come on.
LaKendria, Brittany, Shanika, Sierra, Logan, Amisha, Foreign Season, Chris Thompson, and Mr. Jalen Ezra.
Danielle Jones in here too. What's going on?
Hey, Danielle.
Absolutely.
Dang, we jumped up from 18 to 25 real quick. What up, y'all?
What up,
Welcome
though?
to the live.
Absolutely. So, as always, who got a chance to listen to the episode? I need to apologize to everybody, okay? Y'all been on my head for the last 2 days. My bad. Okay, I don't know why I keep getting this responsibility of pressing record when clearly this isn't my calling.
Okay, y'all. I want y'all to know that every time it comes to podcast equipment stuff, Russell will say that, because it's I just figure I do that because this is my thing. So if it's your thing,
press
it's
record.
your responsibility. No, the equipment.
I set it up.
No, if you set it up, you're responsible for hitting the button. You were right over there.
There's plenty of times where you hit the button too. Don't do that. Sometimes you press record.
Like if I'm getting up to go to the bathroom or something, but
When
usually I'm here perched, sitting pretty, and you push the button.
So what I hear you saying is there's been so many times where I did hit record that we shouldn't harp on me for the few times I didn't.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's what I heard. I heard that.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
I don't know how it keeps happening. I legitimately don't. Like, we were literally talking for an hour straight and nobody noticed. And such a good episode too. I'm still kicking myself in the butt about it. But I'm going to do better, y'all. I'm going to do better. Who has listened to the episode?
So it looks like Jay says he's sick of you, Russ. What's up, Danielle? What's up, Courtney? Sierra says I'm finishing it now. The last 15 minutes. How you gonna finish while we on live?
What up, Courtney?
Chelsea says y'all do this once a season. Not y'all. He do it once a season.
This is twice this season.
It is. This is the second time. Somebody else said that. Give him a pass. He allowed one a season. I said, well, this is the second one.
We at number 2 for season 4, so it's getting worse, y'all. It's getting worse.
Nah, here Rob at. Oh, where Rob at? I don't know where Rob is, so he can roast you. I don't know where he at.
He can't make it tonight. Okay, don't you worry about that.
Misha said she listened. Renee said she did. Racy said she did. What's up, Racy? LaKendria says yes, great episode. Danielle said we're going to start reminding you. You don't need to.
Shoot me a text. Be like, Russ, don't forget to hit record. We record on Sundays. Hit us up.
Brittany said she listened. Sierra said it's too good to put down. I had to get up to speed. Stacy says not me. That's okay, Stacy. We don't penalize you for not listening.
We're gonna catch you up anyway.
Well, before we talk about the episode, I want to pose the question that was posed on the episode to the masses. So, Do you believe in right person, wrong time? Y'all heard our responses, so try not to like mimic what we said. Don't let us sway you. Do you really believe that there's a such thing as a right person, but it just might be the wrong time? Jay says the episode was good. It wasn't the same though.
Okay, let it go.
Some people that just like to watch. I get it.
Let it go. Move forward, okay? You get it.
For me, it was listening back and just being like, oh, I wish I could see my face there. Or I remember the face he made there. So it was
Would have
cool.
been such good clips.
It was cool.
It's all good.
More to come. More to come.
But y'all know how we do. Sound off in the chat. Do you believe in the idea right person, wrong time?
Foreign Season says yes. Danielle says yes. Again, y'all heard our responses, so we can sit here and reiterate our responses, but it's better if y'all chime in and let us know.
Sophie,
go ahead.
Jay says, I'm bringing it up when you renew your vows. Yeah, so like, for those of you guys who didn't listen to the episode, my stance was I'm not so much a believer in right person, wrong time, because I believe if they're the right person, then they'll utilize time correctly and make the most of it to, you know, do what they got to do to make it work with you. You know, for instance, when I met her, I wasn't the right person. You know what I mean? But because I wasn't the right version of myself, right? But because I wanted her, I started working on me, expedited the process because I knew what I wanted. So, and at the same token, you could be the right person, and I could see you 5 years from now. But if you're still like emotionally unhealthy, if you still got wounds from childhood, if you still got wounds from your last relationship that you ain't let go of, if you don't handle them 5 years, you still gonna be the same version of you.
Racy says she does. Logan says absolutely. Sierra says I like Russ's response. Let me just say expedite, Experian, and Expedia took me out. Yeah, that was a little cluster.
Hey, that word crossed me up on the episode. I tried to say expedite, and I said expedite. And she was like, that's a credit. That's a credit.
And it wasn't even that. Like, we was all mixed up. Yeah, so that was a good little laugh. Jay said it had you in a chokehold.
It definitely did. I lost that battle.
Me too, because I had to Google it. I said, something don't sound right about that. Look, it says, yes, you can put a seed in the ground, right location, wrong time. It will not grow.
That's a good thought.
It's a good way of looking at it. And I think still in your version, while I do agree, and I like the way that you put it about just being the wrong version of yourself, I guess that still does mean like it's the wrong time. Like I met you at the wrong time when you weren't the right version of yourself that you needed to be for us to be together.
I guess the thought is that some people think that time automatically equates to someone being better.
No.
And that's what I mean. Like worse. If you the wrong person, well, I get that. So that scenario does apply to like, say I met you at a time when I just wasn't ready for a relationship.
Yeah.
You'd be perfect, but clearly you're not ready to get back into that situation. Mm-hmm. That's where the timing is also. I do see that in certain scenarios for sure.
Right person, but maybe it's the wrong time in my life. Like, man, I love being around you, but I got a lot of baggage and it's just not the right time for me right now to be in a relationship. Woo, Candace said a lot. She says, I can say that I agree with the statement of people being a different version of themselves and understanding how to adapt or evolve with each person along the way. Taking my husband as an example, 2002 Lamar is vastly different from 2011 Lamar, who is certainly not the same as 2018 Lamar, and 2023 Lamar despises them all. We really have and still are growing together. The show don't stop, so we still learn new things about each other and ourselves 21 years later. The pruning, priming, and watering is continuous.
21 years. Come on. That's a big.
I don't even feel like we old enough to be with somebody 21 years. That's your whole life.
We old enough.
I mean, I'm only 38. So thinking of being with somebody 21 years, like literally, that's almost half your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
That's why they get the hand clap. Y'all still together. That's love right there.
Jay says you can grow with time and be a totally different person that you was attracted to. If you want it, you got to grow together. Candace said, whole life, in all caps. And Lamar's in the chat, welcome. And he said, what she said, my whole life.
My homie. Yeah, so it was a lot of good points in the episode. And we transitioned from talking about that to, help me. It was this idea about like, it was timing, but it was like, not necessarily like right person, wrong time, but it was like, I lost it. I should have went back and listened to the episode.
Sierra, what did we talk about? You listen to the episode right now. I don't listen twice, and I'm totally drawing a blank.
I did too. I knew where I was going with that, and it just slipped my mind.
Do y'all have any questions? No, just like. So we did talk about just like the time that you invest in a relationship. So spending time with someone, and maybe they are not the best version of themselves right now. Like, how long do you wait? Sometimes the time we spend in relationships, we equate with like not wanting to leave or not wanting to go somewhere else because we've invested so much time and energy and money and into a person that now we just feel like we have to stay to reap the benefits of it. I feel like Beyonce, she messed us all up with that song Ring the Alarm. She's like, I've been through this too long. I'd be danged if I see another chick on your arm. Like, I done went through the fire with you. You can't get with somebody else and then be the version that I created you to be. Nah, I done invested this time, so I'm going to stay. And sometimes that's not the best decision.
Yeah.
I bumped that song because I really believe that. Like, yeah, girl.
Y'all be writing some cute songs, but it just be songs because y'all be in there. I'd be like, you've been with this person for years. Your resiliency is the stuff of legends because why are you enduring this? And I think women are just different, right? Like, y'all are just
built to endure. Like,
you're built to endure it, but more than that, I think y'all are built to like multiply and improve on a design, right?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Like even in nature, I can't remember what we were listening to.
About being a helper.
Yeah, that. But like, I can't remember what we were listening to, but it was like, whatever you give a woman, she builds and multiplies on that.
Yeah.
You give her a seed, she'll give you a baby.
Yeah.
You give her groceries, she'll give you a meal.
Mm-hmm.
You give her a house, she'll give you a home. Yeah. Like, it's a beautiful thought, but it's so real. So with most women having this resiliency, like, you can look at y'all bodies and see like y'all were just built to endure, from childbirth to menstrual cramps to like stuff that no man will be able to endure.
Menopause.
Like, it's stuff that y'all go through that no man would be able to like endure.
Yeah, no, I
like,
can't even see you get.
I can't even
cramp.
get a cold.
You can't even get a sore throat.
I can't get a sore throat and function. Like, you had a sore throat. You doing the dishes, going grocery shopping. Like, y'all are just built different, right?
Absolutely.
So with that, you also have this degree of like being able to look at a man and being able to see his potential,
see the end product,
and also see something in yourself that will say, I'm gonna love that version of him out. I just gotta free him. Like, nobody else sees this. I see it in him. He's caring. I can see him being a strong man. And because you see that, you'll fall in love with that idea. And you'll have this resiliency that will say, I'm not going to quit. 15 years down the line, he has dragged you and beaten you to dust figuratively and sometimes literally, and you still there.
Yes.
And
I ain't got nothing to say because we see it. I think that you see that a lot in the past generations, right? I saw a post that said, how come relationships don't last anymore like they did with our grandparents? And it's not like our grandparents had a different set of scenarios, right? Because many of us have found out later that grandpa was a dog, right? It's just that.
Man, grandpa was a dog. In our mind, grandpa couldn't do no wrong until we got older.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, yeah. Grandpa.
Listen, I love my grandpa's dirty drawers. I got orders, start finding out some stuff. I'm like, my grandpa? Yeah. Like, really?
This is the season like when you start finding stuff about your relatives.
Yeah, it's not even like, I don't know. Sometimes it's not even a choice. It's just like what you saw. Like, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Especially when you get married. Like, you just stick with him. Like, I saw my grandma stick with her husband through. Now what I know is stuff that the first sight of that, somebody else would have just walked away.
Oh, for
but
sure.
They had like this stick-to-itiveness that was like, nah, I made a commitment to you, and regardless of what comes, like I'm stick beside him.
Yeah.
I just think that we sometimes want to be in love so bad and want to be loved, and we want that pretty picture that we'll fight until we get the pretty picture, and sometimes the pretty picture never comes.
Yeah. And then there was a societal aspect of the man goes out into the world, the man makes the salaries, women don't work jobs like that.
Mm-hmm.
So grandma gotta stay with grandpa because she don't even know how to access the money in the bank accounts.
Yeah, my grandma didn't learn how to drive till she was in her 40s.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now in today's day and age, where the average woman makes more than the average man, not across the board, because still the high paying jobs are still, held by men. But across the landscape, y'all more educated, y'all are more paid.
Especially black people.
On top of that, you watch mama and grandma get dogged out, and you like, I'll be danged.
If I ever.
So now to me, it's like a redundant question. Be like, why don't we got love like grandma and grandpa? First of all, that was torture for some of them. It wasn't all love. Some of them was just, I'm going to stick beside him. Grandma was not happy. That's why she spent so much time in the church, because she could stand that man. But there's that. It's like, it's just different now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Let's take some comments. So Kristen responding to Candace says, that's a long time. I've been with mine 12 years and it feels like my whole life. Stacy says, because how many times does a person have to present themselves in someone's life when I wasn't right for you and it was the wrong timing for you? We couldn't be, but now I'm good, and once I come back into your life, now you're not the right person for my timing.
That's how it go though.
Candace said, y'all talked about how it could possibly be a waste of time if it's not particularly defined sneaky link situationships.
We gonna touch on
we'll
that
talk
for
about
sure.
that. Stacy said that's a lot. Jay says, nah. In
the words of Chris Brown.
Go ahead. Yes, read that.
In the words of Chris Brown, there's never a right time to say goodbye. And if you valued what we had, you shouldn't have let me go. Let this next one appreciate me in ways you didn't. That part. Shalonda says, my comment to that was because new age wives aren't going to allow our husbands to cheat on us like grandpa cheated. Period.
But we do still.
Kristen says, I missed you guys. Been a while since I got to tune in live. Welcome
back.
Absolutely. Candace says, then there's the whole for richer or poorer in sickness and health till death do us part. That part.
Yeah, a lot of people feel bound by, you are, right? Marriage is a covenant. It's an agreement that you're entering between you and your spouse and God, and you should take your vows very, very, very seriously. And as someone who, I wasn't even in church or religious or anything like that when I got married and when I got divorced, but I still felt very guilty about breaking that covenant. But it's like, at some point you make your own decision. We all have free will. And once you realize you made the wrong decision for yourself, I don't believe that God wants you to stay in a situation that he didn't deem fit for you, right? And so when you get out of those situations and you feel like you done something wrong, like, I think that part right there, that guilt or that feeling like I can't do this because I made a vow, that people just stayed in relationships way longer than they should have because they felt bound. They felt tied to it. Yeah.
I think I land a little different there.
Go ahead.
And I think it's just because of my upbringing. I don't know if it's right or wrong. but I land more on the, like, you don't make vows to people. You make vows to God. Mm-hmm. And even in your mistake, you still made a promise. And I think you got to really have a real strong relationship with God before you break those vows.
I agree. I don't think we said anything that was different from one another. And I still felt the need to, once I got divorced and once I got in church and started learning about God, started reading my word, still felt like I needed to repent for that. Like, I made a covenant, I made a promise, I made a vow, and I broke it. So that's something that I needed to repent for.
You was good though, because you was fighting for it. You ain't even like,
that don't mean nothing. It still happened. Like,
you ain't choose that. You was good. I think I still wrestle with not I wouldn't even say guilt, but I still sometimes be like, man, like you was young. And not so much about the divorce, but just about the whole thought process of like, what made you think you was ready to get married, bro?
Your granny tried to tell you.
She did. My grandma was like, so you ready for this? I said, yeah. She was like, I said, what's funny? She knew. She
was trying to tell you.
But divorce is like, for anybody who's listening who has been through that, like it's a gut punch. And that's putting it lightly. It's a hard thing because it shifts so much of your life, right? Like it's a whole new normal in so many different aspects at the same time. Parenting, household, your relationship, family, sleeping at night, cooking meal, like
everything changes.
Everything.
Money, everything changes.
Everything changes instantly. Mm-hmm. It's a hard shift.
Even if you're like, it's not necessarily the day you get divorced, but I think it's the day you like decide to separate.
Oh yeah.
Right. The day you decide to separate is where you really feel like, oh, my whole life gonna be different from this point. And it's a loss. It's like a death. You grieve, you go through those 7 stages of grief. Sometimes the 14 stages because you repeat them a couple times. It's a lot and it's nothing to play with. So it's not a choice that any of us suggest that you make lightly, but I do believe sometimes it got to be done.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So there was another part of the episode, and I'm glad, I think Candace brought it up. Mm-hmm. I need to know y'all take on current relationship terminology, new categories of relationships that didn't exist before but now exist now. Are they helpful or harmful, okay? So, for instance, we keep referencing our grandparents' day. Back in the day, I'm not sure if they had the right language or vocabulary to describe the vagueness that we have now in dating, right? I'm talking about sneaky links. I'm talking about we just talking. I'm talking about I just like her vibe. I just like his energy or what, like all these terms that we have, situationships, where you can be in a full-blown actual relationship with somebody without any sort of commitment or title.
Yeah.
You're doing everything that relationships do. You sending money, you having sex, you signing off on cars, like you investing in properties, like
all without any type of commitment. Like you can't even be my boyfriend. Like, but we want to do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Sierra says harmful in all caps. Stacy says harmful. Sierra says they allow too much room for confusion. Brittany says harmful, opens the door for miscommunication. I think that's the like misnomer, right? Because usually people who are especially in like situationships, because I think Sneaky Link is a little something different, but they claim to be upfront, or we're just talking, we're just vibing. It's like we going into this on the same page. Mm-hmm. So at some point it switches, right? For somebody catch feelings, somebody lose feelings, but at some point it changes and y'all not on the same page no more. And I think that's where, when Sierra said it just causes too much confusion, because like now it's like, now what? Now we done intertwined our whole lives, and now what? And I love Judge Judy, and she always talks to people who come to her courtroom after living together for 5 years with no defined relationship, and now they done broke up and can't decide who take the couch. And she's like, look, there's a court for divorced people. There ain't no court for what you doing. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, if y'all can't make a decision, don't look to me to try to divide up silverware and dishes and the lawnmower and the couch.
Yeah.
If y'all wanted to invest in things together, then y'all should have got married. If not, figure it out.
Sneaky Link is the pre-situationship. It's like what happens before it becomes a situationship.
I ain't never had no sneaky link, so I don't know.
When you're good at sex, it's going to turn to something else.
Even when you bad at it sometimes.
Nah.
Sometimes some people just like a warm
Then the people that get ghosted and be like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know why they just stopped calling. Like, when you're good at it, they gonna keep coming back so much to where it's like, okay, look, I don't want nothing serious, but I like your energy.
That would assume that then every person that's in a relationship is having great sex. So there are bad sex that turns into a relationship.
Well, no, you could be in love with somebody and still not be satisfied in bed, but you're in love with some aspect of them, or you like some aspects of them. If I don't like you, why am I keep coming back? You know, like, if I don't like you, then what's the leverage for being in a situationship? I don't really like you like that, and the sex is bad. Why do I keep coming around?
Company, money, trips.
Now, hold on. Now, that's a different title. That's sugar daddy. That's that's a whole different.
Might not be sugar. We the same age. He just got more money than I do.
They got a word for that?
Yeah. Sneaky link.
That ain't no sneaky link. Dang.
Let's see. Kendra says, yep, it allows someone to say, as long as we're not married, we're single, period. Jay says, nah, man, if you bad at sex but have a lot to offer, it can still be a situationship or a whatchamacallit. And Stacey said, facts. Yeah.
What was the comment before that?
Nah, man. If you bad at sex but have a lot to offer, it can still be a situationship or a whatchamacallit.
Or a whatchamacallit.
Who had that song? Is that
That's
LMA?
a candy bar, wasn't it?
No, I think LMA had a song called whatchamacallit. That's the song with Chris Brown, I think.
Mm-hmm.
LaKendria says, confusion and harmful for those that are in the relationship and the people and the kids that it affects. It's so true.
It's so true.
I've never been in a sneaky link, but I have been in a situationship. I've definitely been in the place where it's like we talking and we just trying to figure out what it is. And I have been the person that's fallen and wanting it to evolve into a full-blown relationship, and the other person's on the other end like, nah, we just kicking it. Like I told you what it was. And we talked about this in the episode where you just want to be with that person so much that you accept whatever they're offering you. So you stay in a relationship or a situationship or whatever y'all calling it at the time where you are not getting what you want, but because you enjoy being in that person's presence, you enjoy sharing space with them, you'll just put up with anything in order to stay around. And I think those are the situations that are really harmful.
Yeah. I've been all of them. I've been in all of them. I've been a sneaky link. I've been in situationships, and if I'm being honest, I think this version of me, I hold a lot of guilt
for who you used to be. Yeah, let that go.
I do. Like I hold a lot of guilt because it's like, and this is just transparency, right? And this is, I'm putting y'all on game for this. If there's anybody who's listening to this on the audio, or if you rewatch the live, whatever, there's a lot of men who you can feel they have a good heart, but they legitimately might just not want to be in a relationship with you. But you feeling that they have a good heart, and that's what we're talking about, like that resiliency or the potential that you see in a man will make you hang on. And I think, I know I have a good heart. I don't feel like I have ill intentions, but there were so many times where I'm dealing with the woman. So many is extra. There were a few times where I was dealing with the woman.
Shame the devil.
It wasn't like that. My body count low. But there were a few times where I was dealing with the woman and I knew that there were more feelings on the other side. Mm-hmm. And even though I articulated honestly where I was at, I still know what she felt.
Do you think that the person that's in a situation like that, so the you in the situation where you've stated your intentions, but you also know that the other person feels more deeply or wants more, who is the onus on in that situation? Is it in the person who has the feelings and you're not getting what you want? Or is it the person that's like, I know I don't want to be with you? Is the onus on them to let it go?
So here's how my situations went. I would be, when I start feeling it, I try to cut off, be like, look, honestly, like it usually would happen because they'd see me on a trip or something and be like, who's you with or something. I'm like, yo, I told you I didn't want nothing serious. Why you pressing me about who I was with? Like, you're not my girlfriend. They was like, see, da-da-da-da. And I'll be like, yo, look, see, this is what I didn't want. Let's just break it off. I'm making it clear that I don't want that with you. Usually what happens is they'll come back and be like, okay, cool, I'm over that. Now that I know where you at, let's just leave it at sex because that's all I want. I know that's not all you want. I know you have feelings for me. I'm emotionally intelligent enough to assess that. And here's the truth. She might really convince herself that that's all she wants. Mm-hmm. Or she might be like, I know I want more, but if I keep him around, maybe I can. I don't know. But I know what it is. There were plenty of times where I still took advantage of that. Where I'm like, okay, cool. If that's what it is, it's what it is. I knew what that was going to be.
So but that don't answer my question. Like, who's the one that's on?
Well, we're only responsible for ourselves. So I'm only responsible for what I know, right? Mm-hmm. So I can take ownership for my part. I don't think it's just on me. It takes two to tango. You know what I mean? If she made the decision to say that to me, that's on her. Now, then the ball's in my court, because I could easily been like, nah, you know what? I'm still good. Like, let's just be friends. Mm-hmm. I got to take my part because I knew what it was, and I still took advantage of the open door that was left for me, knowing what it was going to be. So there's some ownership she can take for sure, but I think it's a shared ownership on that front.
Yeah, I think that's where like men get the get the bad rap, because not on you, but I've heard that situation and been in that situation played out 1,000 times, right? Where girl has all the feelings, guy doesn't. Guy knows the girl still has feelings, but won't stop messing with her when you know you don't want to be with her in that way. Mm-hmm. So like for me, who knows, sometimes it's hard to control your emotions, especially when someone is still deciding to be around you, right? Yes, you do take some ownership on yourself to have to be like, he not gonna give me what I want. I need to back up. But I'm like, bro, why you keep messing with her? If you knew you're not gonna give her what she want and she stated what she want to you, why you keep messing with her?
Everybody got good intentions till they get horny. And as soon as your body start calling the shots, that's when your character goes out the window. When you letting your body regulate your decision making, when you letting your flesh dictate how you move, morals and character takes a back seat.
That's terrible.
Now you just on the, oh, man, who can I call?
Candace says, I've seen people do it for clout. Sierra says, being a person that has been on both sides, I feel like it's on both parties. Both parties know what was agreed upon and can tell when things start to change. Candace says, I think it's the person who doesn't want the relationship who needs to let it go. Unfortunately, the other party typically will try to make them want it. You want to read, Misha?
Yeah, I was in a situation like that where I didn't want a relationship, so I let it go. Because no sense in moving forward. It confuses the situation because now they think they're changing my mind, and no, you're not. But I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I said it on the episode, and I stand on this until someone can persuade me otherwise. The biggest flaw in modern day relationships and dating is how we utilize sex in that. Absolutely. Like, the whole BS that we've been sold that, oh, man, it's just a physical act. Like, as long as y'all can be adults and be mature, then y'all can handle it. You can't. Somebody, even if you are poised and can do it, not catch feelings, you guys are literally sharing souls. And then I know y'all don't believe that, but like, well, some of y'all do. But it's a spiritual act. Like, for those of you guys who are on here, I believe most of us are adults and have had sex before. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. You can't name me one thing that is close to that experience. I've never smoked crack. I've heard that from a crackhead before. He said it's better than sex. But
we've had this conversation before, yes.
But either way, like, you can tell that there's something bigger than physical that's happening in that act. And it's a dangerous space, right? It's almost impossible to navigate that with another human being, and you just keep it casual. That's a rarity. I'm not saying it can't happen. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that would be the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah, I think most of the time what it is, even if it does go along, quote unquote, successfully, somebody probably has feelings that they're just suppressing. Because, I don't know, for me, especially in sex, like, if it's decent, if it's good, like, I'm going to start probably liking more about you, right? Yeah. Like, okay, I like that, but, I like the way you made me laugh too. Because, like, for me, sex is more than just, let's lay down and have, like, what are you doing to get me ready for that, right? We're probably spending time, probably going on dates, probably hanging out. Like, it's something else going on that's making me want to have sex with you. I've never had sex with somebody just off the feeling of, he cute, I'm going to have sex with him. It's usually, he cute, he made me laugh, he nice, he whatever, you know what I'm saying? There's always a bonus part to that. So it's never just sex. unless you calling up a prostitute.
I think for some people it could be just sex.
How? You just call them, and like, how do you know them? How do you like? It's.
There are some people who don't need to know somebody to have sex with them. Oh. There's some people literally be at a party, be dancing with somebody, go to.
But that's like a one-time thing, right? Because then after that, y'all.
Oh, you're talking about like an ongoing,
like a situationship or whatever. Like when we're saying it's just sex, but how is it just sex?
I don't think it's just sex. I agree with you on that. But there are some people who have shut down a part of themselves that allows them to connect with other humans properly. Like you go to a sex addict meeting or listening to people who have sex addiction, it's completely void of, emotions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jay says feelings are going to be involved because you're giving that person a piece of you that you can't get back. Like you said, it's a physical intertwine. Foreign Season says soul ties are very, very real.
Very, very real.
Sherelle says that's why I had to stop. I started liking men I don't actually like. They butt ugly and now I'm in love.
I swear that's how it be. They start looking good. Like, you ain't that bad looking.
I don't know if Renee is on here, but she was like my dog in this season where I was messing with this guy that was just this is gonna sound really mean, but he was hideous. Like but he was so funny, right? And
girls with funny dudes.
I really enjoyed being around him because he made me laugh. And then I made the fatal mistake of being intimate with this person. And then it was on the other end, right? Like he wanted to be around, but I was like, God, I don't like you like that. But there was just something about his personality that then made me want to be around him, and then being around him made me want to have sex with him. And then when I had sex with him, I was like, ugh, like you ugly, you trash in bed, but you made me laugh. Nah, I don't want to be in this situation. Like, but I think that we sometimes let those things, those physical attributes or those mental qualities fool us into tricking us into a situation, and it becomes something that it just really ain't.
Yeah, funny is the cheat code.
The funny dudes are winning. Like people think it's the fly dudes, the dudes with the money. If you can make me laugh,
I'm telling you,
I can overlook a bunch of stuff.
I used to be at the set cracking jokes. She giggling too hard. I'm like, ha ha, got you. Ha ha, nothing. I'm gonna laugh right out them drawers.
Sherelle said, she says, LOL, I know who you talking about. Sherelle says, funny dudes will laugh you right out your drawers. They gotta go too. Not today, Satan. Forrest said, not ugly and trash in bed. Yeah, the only thing that he had going for him was that he made me laugh. And when I look back on it, I'd be like, oh, bro, what were you thinking? But when we go into situations and we don't have clear heads and we get caught up on how someone makes us feel or how much time we spend together or how bomb the sex is, like we can end up in situations that, do us a lot of harm. Like I ended up getting in some situations with that person where I was like, yo, that was a really rough patch in my life. I'm glad that I got out of Dodge because I was down bad.
Man, situationships are the devil, boy. And I didn't even know how to do it. I think I'm not really him. I'm not really that guy. So even in season when I was doing that, I don't know how to move. Like,
yeah, you be romancing girls and stuff. Like, but what you was telling me, I was like, bro, like, you spending the night, you got two brushes over there, you having sex with them, then telling them good morning. Like,
it just seems weird to me because
you gotta learn how to be a player because that ain't it.
I'm wired for relationships, so it's just weird to me. How we gonna have sex and then the next morning I don't say hi. Good morning. Hey.
How was your day? He care about me. That's how she's receiving it. Like, oh, he care about me. It ain't just
it's weird. You gonna leave my house?
Time.
You gonna leave my house at 2 a.m.? I ain't gonna have you call me when you get home. Like I gotta make sure.
Nah, they don't do that.
That's crazy. See, that's why I wasn't built for that. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with y'all? Wasn't serious. You wasn't saying all that. You would.
Yeah.
Like, what did I communicate to you?
You want to know my thoughts and you want to cuddle with me and take me places. Like, no, that's relationship stuff.
I like to cuddle.
And that's why you was getting in trouble.
That's why I need to be in a relationship.
That's why you was getting in trouble.
That's why I had no business out here in these streets. I'm not built for this. I need a wife. Get me out these streets. Yeah.
Renee said, easy. It's been fun, but I gotta go.
I'm not built like that. I cannot.
No, me too. Like, I probably could walk away from a person like that, especially in my past when I was really cut off from my emotions. I probably could have done that, but I wanted closeness, right? I just wanted to be around somebody that made me feel good, and I was missing the absence of a male presence in my life. So I filled that space with people who I had no business like being around, but just because they met a void that I had in me, but yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. When you are dating to fill a void in your life, when you're dating because you're lonely, when you're dealing with someone because they give you money and all that, that's all just bad. All a bad idea.
It's all bad. It's all bad. And I know, yeah. Anyways. Yeah. It's all bad.
Where we at? We don't got no more comments. We all caught up.
Easy as been fun. I gotta go. Amisha says that part Renee. Y'all wild.
What else did we talk about in the episode, babe?
Somebody remind me because I really don't remember. Sierra, you fresh off of listening, so you gotta help us out.
Candace said they said you can't cuddle. The sneaky link. You ain't even supposed to take your take your shoes off. So how you gonna cuddle?
You can't take your shoes off. Man, we was talking about life, our goals.
See?
Our plans.
See?
We went to the museum.
And that's why you was caught up. And then you want to be like, oh, well, I don't want nothing serious. This is serious.
Not to me.
You talking about that stuff? That's serious. I'm not talking about my goals with just a no fly by night person. I'm not taking thoughtful days like the museum. You better take her to Applebee's or something. That's where you
Once
take
again,
links.
I'm not built for that life.
Franklin Riley says, first time watching The Kickback. I love the podcast. Russell, how did you work on yourself when you need to be by yourself, but at the core of you enjoy being around people? And did you continue to work on yourself in this marriage?
Russell, how did you work on yourself when you need to be by yourself? Yeah, I'm trying to understand it. When did you work on it?
Like when I was talking about I needed that period of time by myself, and you were saying like you didn't really need that. You know, you're hardwired to be around people.
So for me, and I don't know if this is what's best, because I think in a perfect world, it's better to work on yourself being in a season where you're kind of isolated. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's just how God had it for me. I think a big part of my evolution was her influence, right? And I think it helped that early on, she made it clear, like, let's just get to know each other. So we didn't just jump into a relationship. It was, hey, like, let's just get to know each other. Don't get me wrong.
It was fast.
We was moving, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, certain people can bring out good stuff in you. Like, for instance, with her, there were things in my life that I know for a fact. There are things in my life present day that I know would not be a reality had it not been for her being in my life. So it took her being in my life to be like, hey, when's the last time you've been to church? Not judgmental, just asking me, what do you think about this? Conversations I wasn't having with anybody, right? Making me think about stuff that I'm actively not trying to think about. You know what I mean? Even on my job, like just, you know, advancement in my career, just like, hey, you ever thought about this? You ever thought about that? Like, her influence was such a big part of my evolution. So it made me work on myself, right? So for instance, when we started talking, this was the first relationship where sex was just not an option. And I wasn't moving like that at the time, right? But seeing her, and it was a little bit of a cheat code because I knew her already. And because I knew her in her former days, me seeing her like this now was intriguing to me. I'm like, yo, it's weird seeing you like this. This ain't the Brandy I knew growing up. So I didn't want to be the dude that came around and messed that up. Like, I wasn't trying to seduce her and be the guy that she's like, oh man, I was living for God and he done.
Nah, he was trying to give you a bite to apple, y'all. Don't believe that. I'm just playing.
Now Eve.
Because you was about to say something real crazy.
Now Eve.
I'm just playing.
Now Eve.
I'm just playing.
Nah, so I didn't want to be the guy to mess that up. So I don't know if I'm answering your question correctly, but I worked on myself by having her influence there, and we did ourselves the favor of like pacing our relationship based on my growth. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's really good. I like the way you put that. Pacing our relationship based on your growth.
Yeah, for sure.
So yes, he still had to work on himself in this.
And did you continue to work on this in your marriage? Yes. Yes.
So we both are still working.
Absolutely. Like our courtship, our relationship into marriage was a little bit faster than most relationships, right? Because I already knew her. How long did we date? Was it 2 years?
We dated a full year before you proposed.
Yeah.
And then we got married 4 months later.
Yeah. We was moving. So we actively had to work. It's been a whole lot of grace from God for us to be able to move like we're moving. This podcast has been a huge help. Mm-hmm. The fact that we have to come back here and keep talking about the argument we had last week, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is, or every week we come down here and we're talking about relationship dynamics and working through stuff. So this has been a huge help. But yeah, the work doesn't stop. It's a continuous, learning period.
Yeah, because one thing we say is like, we're not experts. We're coming and talking from a real place of what we experience, but we also don't want to be hypocrites, right? So we don't come here and talk about anything that we haven't practiced nor experienced in our relationship. And by doing that, like, we're forced to talk about really difficult things. We're forced to address really ugly parts of ourselves because inevitably we edge up on a conversation where it's like, oh, well, what about this? And then we have to expose how we are deficient in those areas. And then what it does is cause us to go outside of this podcast and do the work to get proficient in those areas. So.
Absolutely. Foreign Season says Russ wasn't doing it right. Lamar says, huh? No, my dog. Russ was doing the most, says Shaniqua. I'm telling y'all, I was not meant to be out in these streets. I'm a husband. I've always been one. Okay. Sierra says the ending started going into about the men versus women with leadership and communication. Ooh, yeah. That's a whole bag. Mm-hmm. That's a whole conversation. I think I want to save that one. Also, heads up, our next episode, we have a special guest.
Yes.
Miss Veronica.
I don't know her last name.
Miss Veronica.
I know what it is, but not off the top of my head.
But she's a relationship coach, sex coach, sex therapist, something like that. So it's gonna be a dope conversation.
We really make it sound like we don't know what we're talking about, but y'all know we got a lot of stuff floating around.
It's a lot of stuff going on, so it's gonna be good. I know that much.
Her name is Miss Veronica Clark. Yes. She calls herself a master teacher, mindset, and sexuality coach, helping women to fall deeply in love with their souls so they can unabashedly share their gifts with the world. But what we are talking to her about, which is why we're going to hold the end of that episode, is she's really passionate about, like, not gender roles. I don't know how to put it, but masculine and feminine. Yeah, masculine and feminine energy and roles in relationships. So that's what we're going to talk to her about this weekend, and it will be released to y'all on Tuesday. Franklin says that's good. And Kendra says there will always be active work. Yes, absolutely.
Y'all leave me alone. They still harassing me in the comments
about you.
Russ was doing the most racy talking about something. Then he was like deuces.
Yeah, he should have watched How to Be a Player before he actually like went out and tried to be a player.
I really wasn't trying to be a player. That wasn't the goal. Like, I was trying to build connections, but keep it cash. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep it chill.
We're talking about the next episode. Danielle said, make sure you record, Russ. That's your reminder.
I'm done.
We have to record that.
Y'all hearing me right now. The record button is no longer
No, I'm not taking that on. No, you have to be responsible. You have to be accountable. You cannot put something else on me.
You're responsible as well.
Absolutely not.
Because you sat here, you didn't see me press record. You did the whole episode too.
I don't be watching you.
We gotta help each other.
Whatever.
Help me.
Anyways.
Help.
Sherelle says yes. Make sure you hit record. Brandy, back him up, please.
Help a brother out.
I will back him up. I'm gonna check the button, but other than that, it ain't too much I can do.
Just give me a double check.
Yes,
babe. Hit record.
I will double check. Sherelle said the devil be busy going.
It wasn't even the devil. This is just me, just messing up.
Kenna says you have two. I do. I will. Florence Season says Team Merc makes the dream work. Back him up. I'm a back him up.
Monica,
I got his back.
I
got his back.
Help me.
It's going to be released, Danielle, the same as all of them on Tuesday. We're just recording it on Saturday. So
yeah,
it'll be released on Tuesday like the rest of the podcast episodes. Sierra says, I feel like Russ needs someone to make a cartoon or comic shorts with his experiences. That would be so lit.
Nah, I don't need to know my business. This podcast is about the only way y'all can get to know my business.
We're going to contact Issa Rae, see if she want to make it into a YouTube show.
It would be a terrible show. It would be a terrible show. Nobody want to see that. Sure, talking about some. Why can't I picture this?
Picture what?
The cartoon.
Oh,
somebody she can picture this. Don't nobody want to see that. We do need to do it. So we talked about that. Just doing a story time episode.
Yeah. I think you tell really good stories anyways. I think I just have some really interesting stories.
You tell good stories too. You tell good stories.
So we talked about doing just additional like YouTube content of us just going over our experiences out here in the world.
It'd be a podcast episode. Story time.
Danielle says that's what I'm talking about. I'm sending out reminders for sure. CSS period. Someone put us on. It would be good. It would be a good little short.
I'm not here for it. I don't want it. I adamantly disagree. Y'all, the Irish Draw Night. Do y'all have any questions for us? Let us know if there's anything you want to ask about the episode or just in general, anything that's pressing, anything that you're dealing with that you want some feedback on. Let us know.
So Sierra says Russ with his radio voiceover stories is everything. Danielle says what time on Saturday? Danielle, we're just recording it so you won't actually be able to like see anything on Saturday. So again, it'll be available for y'all on Tuesday. I think that's all we got, John. Sherelle says, is domestic partnership considered marriage biblically? No.
I don't think so.
Domestic partnership. I'm trying to think of a domestic partnership in the Bible.
So biblically, I mean, of course, like we tend to like look at these aspects from like our Western view, right? Like where
that's facts.
Where in our world, when we get married, there's a wedding, there's cake and all that, and that's what we consider getting married. But regardless of what the tradition is or where you come from, there traditionally is some sort of ceremony. I don't care if you're in a court or if you're in front of the head of the tribe or wherever you at on the head of the tribe. Wherever you at on the globe, there's some sort of recognition that we're making a commitment. We're going into the next phase of relationship where we're doing life together, and you make a commitment to do so, whatever that looks like. And I don't think you can skip that part.
Because like in biblical days, y'all didn't go to the courthouse or have a sand ceremony and lighting the unity candle and jumping in the room and stuff. Yeah, they definitely had ceremonies, but it also didn't, like, a man decided he wanted to marry a woman and he married her, like, and probably 5 of them things. So it's a little different. So I think it's the commitment part and making the vows and the covenant that make it that. And the domestic partnership to me is just like, we just lived together for so long. What's that thing called? Common law marriage. We just lived together for so long that now we're considered married. But yeah, I don't think that's right without doing something official.
Yeah. Something official. Make a decision. That's what I say.
But we not y'all pastors. Go ask y'all pastors because we don't know. This is our best educated guess based on the scriptures that we read.
Oh my goodness.
What else we got on? Sherelle says, in Cali, you can get one where you file papers. That's why I wondered.
Do you like qualify for like health benefits and like legal marital things? Like, if you have a domestic partnership, can you like do like, I put them on my health insurance or stuff like that, life insurance policy, stuff like that? Yeah,
that's what. Okay, I ain't gonna go down that road. I'm not gonna go down that road.
you was finna speed down that court. Don't do it. Back up. Yes, you get their benefits and stuff. All right. Wow. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Yeah. Get married. Go and get married. All right.
I just don't like. I don't get it. I'm gonna go down that road because I really don't get it. Like spending umpteen years with somebody and not getting married, and they say like, "Oh, it's just a piece of paper," or
well, I think that was originated on the West Coast originally when people in the LGBTQ weren't allowed to marry.
Mm-hmm.
So they came up with a stipulation to where they could still, benefits and stuff like that and access those things without getting married. So that's, I think.
But my question still stands.
What?
Like, why do we spend 10, 20, 30 years with somebody and never get married? Like,
well, if you were
a piece of paper
if you were gay and not allowed to marry, that was really the only option.
Okay, well, heterosexual people.
Some people.
Sherelle said she was asking for a friend. LOL.
Some people just really don't believe in the institution of marriage. Some people just see it as a piece of paper. I think it's a false idea of what marriage is, but some people legitimately are like, man, why we got to do all that? I ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Let's just, if we're going to be together, let's be together because that's just a sheet of paper. Some people really believe that. I don't agree with it, but some people out in the world who really do.
It's an interesting concept. Kendra said y'all missed a comment, but I'm going to bring it back up. Brandy, you talked about your communication with God during your courting season. Oh, yes, that's good. Well, actually, Russell put me on Front Street and brought that up. But it's a little embarrassing about how much I went.
Why is it embarrassing?
I mean, because it's like, okay, I feel like in a way it kind of goes against what we practice and what we believe. Like we went to God, we got an answer, but we still questioning, we're still doubting, we're still, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's wrong to talk to God at all. Let me just blanket say that. But I was scared. I was really, really scared.
You give the scenario to people who might not listen to
Oh, yeah. So if you did not listen to the episode, what we talked about was we started talking about like the concept of being with somebody who does not meet all of your standards or requirements, and maybe
red
even
flags.
have some red flags that you're like, I don't know. Because I said that there were some red flags when I first got with Russell or not even got with him, when we first started talking and trying to get to know each other, that would have made another person be like, nah, you need to leave him alone. This ain't the one. But because I was in constant communication with God about the relationship, about my feelings for him, I felt like God was continuing to confirm for me that this was somebody that I needed in my life and that I needed to stay with him and help him. Like in one of the confirmations that he gave me, that is exactly what he said. You're his helper. And I knew what the word said about what woman was created for. So I was really sticking to that. But if I wasn't in constant communication with God, like I would have ran, because there were just things that I was like, I don't know if I can get over that. I don't know if I can wait for that. I don't know if I can deal with that. But I went to God constantly looking for direction, looking for confirmation, looking for a way out. Like I said, God, if he is not the one for me, I'm feeling all the things. And if he not the one, I need you to send him to jail. That was actually one of my prayers. I don't know what he was going to do.
Why can't I just break up with you? So I got to go to jail.
Because like I knew in my heart that if you went like away,
you going to make me think I was out here selling work.
I didn't want you to die. No,
you going to make me think I was selling work.
I just said, I don't know what he would have went to jail for, but I needed something that was going to take him far enough away where I wasn't going to desire or try to still be with him out of my own feelings and my own flesh. He didn't go to jail. You didn't go to jail. God spared you.
That's a wild prayer.
But I was reaching, but the point is I was communicating. I was asking God every step of the way, is this what I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to stick with him? Is this supposed to feel like this so soon? Am I forcing feelings? Like, what is happening? And God would just continue to confirm for me that no, you need to be by his side. You're his helper. He's going to bring so much into your life. He's going to help restore things that were lost and were stolen and robbed from you. Because like Russell said, there are things that God created man and woman to fulfill in one another, because he just wasn't going to do it. And there were things that he brought into my life as far as like my self-esteem, my, that inner voice that talks to me and tell me the things that make me so hard on myself that I can't do anything. Like I stay stagnant because if it's not perfect, then I can't put it out. And he spoke to those things and he helped me get past those things. And God told me that he would do that. And when he started to do that, I knew he was the one.
That part. Everybody laughing because you was trying to send me to jail.
Listen.
You trying to pray me to jail.
I did.
That's a wild prayer. Why so specific?
I just told you why. I didn't want you to die.
I could have moved. I could have got a job that took me to another country.
It's just what happened, okay?
Everybody like, jail though? Lord put him under the prison if he ain't for me.
I said if he not, because I knew I wasn't going to be, like if it was just like, oh, because our situation started, we talk about this all the time, with Russell ghosting me. So like that wasn't enough. Usually in my past life, if somebody would have felt in my mind, I felt like played me like that, that is a clear way to get you just like cut off, like, because now you're trying to make me feel like I ain't nothing and I know I'm something. So when he did that, like I felt like I should have walked away, but there was something that was still pulling me towards him. So when I happened to see him in the Walmart, like I was like, oh, all right, you not dead and you didn't call me? Like I was really perturbed, but it still made me want to reach out to him. So in my prayer, it was a sincere prayer of my heart that like, I just needed you, if he's not the one, I needed you to remove him to a place where I can't reach out. I can't still grasp and try to hold on to something. Jail was just the first thing that came out of my mind when I was praying. Did I really want him to go to jail? Probably not.
That's still a wild prayer.
It's not though. It's
That's
people who pray for people to
prayer.
die. Like I just prayed and asked.
That's a wild prayer.
I just asked God to send you to jail.
Ma'am.
You would have eventually got out if that happened.
Charity talking about something. I mean, someone would have bailed you out. Calm down.
Period.
Renee said, wild prayer. Shalana says, very wild. AC says, very specific. Shaniqua says, I'm baffled. Okay, I'm not alone. I knew I wasn't tripping.
Y'all, it really wasn't that bad.
No, it's that bad. Lord, if you ain't for me, just send him to jail. What?
You didn't go to jail?
So because I'm not right for you, I gotta go to jail?
I mean, I just feel like once you heard my explanation in the sincere prayer of my heart, and you still being judgmental, you just trying to fight something hard.
I don't care what's going on in your heart. I don't want to go to
jail. God didn't listen to me.
If I wasn't for you, God would have been like, hey, look, brother.
Well, I'm sure that he
God
wouldn't have just wrongfully convicted you. You would have did something.
Oh my goodness. Candace says, oh yes, and you talked a little bit about how each of us are to help each other. Russell mentioned how if a husband is complaining about his wife not listening, maybe he's a bad communicator and he might need help communicating. This episode was full, y'all.
Yeah, it was real full.
It was really good. This would be the one where
Who was Jonathan? Jonathan so nonchalant with it. Send him to jail though. Listen, Jonathan.
Thank y'all.
Might your be his best.
She be so cavalier. I mean, why? Like, did you die?
Not in jail.
Did you die though? That's her whole. Did you die though?
You not in jail.
Never mind what you did, but did you though?
God don't answer our prayers like in the way that we thought he was gonna answer them.
Bracy says just a simple request for him to be removed would have sufficed.
Instead of sending you to jail, he got you together and we got married. It's a beautiful love story.
Lamar said,
I seem to think.
Lamar said, God said, let there be light, not life. Free Russell. Hashtag free Russell. Thank y'all.
I feel like y'all being real judgmental. So what do y'all pray to God about?
That's funny.
I was trying to save my life. I had just got done fighting for it.
Oh my God. That's too funny. Let's reference this one Ken was talking about.
Ahead. I just did a lot of talking.
Talked a little bit about how each of us are to help each other. Yeah, like so that, and this is something I think I really want to unpack with Veronica on the next episode, because there's so much tension, and we were talking about this. Like when you look at social media, even our social media, if you go to our Instagram, our comment section is just filled with this tension between men and women. We make a post about a minute a minute's worth of a conversation, and people look at that and then they impose their issues on it. It's like, fam, no one said that, bro. Saying, see, this is what I'm talking about. No women loves any man. They hate us. We'll never be happy in love. It's like, what, bro? Where did you get that from? But there's such attention, and I think a lot of it is because people just have a misunderstanding of what the role is for a man and a woman. And that's nuanced based on who you are. But I think the baseline, the base of it is we supposed to help one another, right? Like if you're the man, if you are the head of the household, if you are the head of the household, like what that means, if you're a leader in your household, that doesn't mean that you're King Tut, you walk around and everybody worships the ground you walk on, your wife, bows to everything you say. No, it means that you're of service. A leader is a servant. When he said in the Bible, love your wife like Christ loved the church. When you look at Christ, everywhere he went, he was serving somebody. Jesus, we ran out of wine. All right, gonna keep the party going. Jesus, my leg don't work. All right, here, boom, I got you. Jesus, we need you. Jesus, Lazarus died. All right, let me wipe my tears real quick. Get up, Lazarus. Everywhere he went, he was serving. That's how he loved the church. When you look at that example, it gives you a clear objective of what that is, right? Women, submit to your husbands. When you look at that, if you don't have a real understanding, you'll think that means that your husband is just this ruler and your life is just based on doing whatever he says, and you have no voice, you have no input. But that's not what that is. Submit yourself to one another. And when you got a man who's really holding down the household, when he loves you, when he serves, when you see he's got you and you got him, now when he does have some feedback, now when he does have some thoughts on something, even if you might not necessarily see it that way, you'll be more inclined to listen because you trust him, because you see everything he does has a wind of selflessness, and it's like, I'm for the household. Now we can have a real conversation. But because people don't understand this, it's so much tension right now. Yeah.
I think when you were giving out the examples of Jesus, I think the most humble example in the Bible is when he washed his disciples' feet.
Yeah.
This is a man who had already predicted his death. He knew what was coming, but he still found the time to serve those that was closest up on him. And
even the one that betrayed him.
Even the one that he knew was about to betray.
Pause there for a second. Pause there for a second. Woo, that's good. Pause there for a second. Jesus, knowing that my man was going to betray him and send him to his death, still served him and washed his feet.
But when your wife make you mad, you want to go cheat. You want to go out and disrespect. Man. Your services, your in leadership is out the window.
Yo, like what's going on in your home is a reflection of your leadership in your home. That's not to say that your wife has no flaws and she's perfect, but what I am saying is that your household is something that God gave you and also gave you the grace to handle and maintain. And you have no idea how much your energy sets a tone in your household. You let a husband come home every day pissed off and see if the household just doesn't feel nasty tense. And the energy just doesn't feel tense.
Everybody on edge because they don't want to make you mad.
I'm telling you, you have no idea how much you set a tone in your household, especially with your wife. We said in the beginning, what you give her will be multiplied. So if you're loving her well, it will be multiplied and you'll get it back multiplied. If you're communicating well, not meaning that she communicates well. I'm talking about you, specifically you. She might be a terrible communicator, but you let you consistently set a foundation for good communication and see if it doesn't set a tone in your household. But what we do is, man, she don't respect me as the man. She talk to me. See, this is what I'm talking about. And you wonder why I cheat or you wonder why I do this. No, I still serve. I chose that woman. The only reason she's in this household is because you said, will you marry me? Mm-hmm. Most of the time.
And I mean, it goes back to doing the deeper dive before we get in the mud, right? So before you walk in the big pile of mud, like it's some clean sidewalk somewhere. When you're on the sidewalk, do the investigation. So when you know that a wife is meant to serve her husband, asking the question, like, what does service to you look like? I was created to serve you, so how can I serve you? If he's saying something that don't match up with what you have the ability to do or what you're willing to do, that's the right time to walk away. Not now once you're married and he's saying these are my expectations and you like, I'm not doing none of that, bro. Now y'all in a situation where it's just constant bickering because y'all didn't agree in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't get in the situation that now when you're married, it's a problem. Solve the problem way before then. Talk about what your expectation of your spouse is before you get married. It will save y'all a bunch of heartache, I promise.
Best conversation we ever had. Best pre-conversation we ever had was what does a husband look like to you? Or what does a wife mean to you? Let's be clear on what this means for you. Because if what you think a wife don't match up with what I think a wife is, we gonna have a problem.
And it doesn't mean that the conversation ends there, right? Because once you get married, then life start lifing. Stuff can start to look different, but that's why you're in constant communication. Like, hey, I'm feeling this. I don't like it when you do that. I know what we talked about. You expect me to do this, but let me tell you why it's difficult now in this situation so that y'all can work together to come to some kind of agreement or a consensus on how to move forward in your family. But what happens most of the time is you have an idea of how it's supposed to go. She got an idea on how it's supposed to go, and neither one of y'all want to bend on that idea, so y'all just end up crashing, and then now your whole household is a mess. Like, as the lead, as the head of the household, I expect the man to set the tone. So if we can't come to some type of agreement and your decision and my decision ain't on the same page, we're not making no decision until we can get it together. And I'm leaning on you to get us to that place. It's not, oh no, she don't want to do it, so we not going to do it. No, use your leadership skills, use your communication skills, use your negotiation skills, use the skills that you've learned throughout life to help me come to the understanding of what's supposed to happen in this household. Absolutely. Instead of just letting me go my own way with an attitude and no decision ever being made. Like with us, communication was a problem, period. But Russell set the standard of this is how I'm going to communicate. I'm not going to do all that yelling and screaming and fussing and fighting. We're not going to bed angry. So when you out here on the couch with an attitude, I'm coming to get you. Because this is not how I want our marriage to be run. It was his job. It was his responsibility. And he carries that out fully. He sets the tone for how we communicate in this relationship, period. Because if it was me, we'd be fighting all the time. It's true.
It's very honest.
I don't mind arguing. You said what?
Okay, you calm down. Jonathan Duncan says, when a husband shows good direction and knowledge is when the women will be okay with letting him lead. He has to show those things first. That part. Yeah. There's so many dudes right here who think that just because you were born with the penis between your legs means that you got dibs on being a leader. Bro, if you're not that, you're not that. I don't care what gender you are. If you're not a good leader, what woman is going to be insane enough to let you lead? Right? Like, what if you're not that, you're not that.
Yeah, if I can't trust your decision making, then I'm not going to let you make the decisions. Like, no, I'm going to bug back because you have a history of making poor decisions.
Yeah.
So now that me and my kids are involved, I'm not just going to follow you blindly into the rabbit hole when I see you have a pattern of making poor decisions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like, we had $130 left over after we paid our bills. You with no talking to me went and bought a pair of Jordans. Now you're mad because she don't want a joint account. Why don't you trust them? No, you're not showing that you can. No, like what? I don't trust you with that at all. Everything in the household functions by my voice, by my. You know, like if a woman is in the household and she's running the household, like everything that happens runs on her back, but you just want to sit there and when you speak, then it's just automatically gold. No. What's your contribution? Like, no, show me you can lead and then I'll follow.
And show me that before we get married, please.
Yeah. Y'all should see that before y'all get married.
If he's trash with his money before y'all get married, he's probably going to be trash afterwards. There's not a magic switch in marriage where somebody becomes the perfect version of themselves.
Bars.
In fact, they're probably more perfect when you're dating than they are when you're married to them.
Man, some people be trying to put the marriage Band-Aid on.
We just gonna get married. It's gonna fix everything. No, it's gonna make everything 100 times worse. I promise you.
That ring don't mean anything. It does not change someone's character. It does not change their behavior. If they were trash as your boyfriend, they will be even more trash when the expectation gets higher as a husband. If they were trash as your girlfriend, if they were not a good girlfriend to you, you giving them that ring, they crying, they snot, oh my God, yes, I'll marry you. As soon as she calm down, she's going to go right back to being trash. Like, it's not a fix. That good feeling of the engagement lasts, what would you say, about 48 hours? Where you keep staring at the...
Oh, yeah. Well, no, the engagement part, I still even give that. That's still high, happy feelings. I get to plan a wedding and all that. Right after the honeymoon is when you really find out who you married to.
That part.
The moment, I don't know if y'all lived together before, but for us, we didn't live together before. The moment we moved in together, that first week, I was like, oh, so this is what it's like. Yeah. And you have to adjust. You have to paint that picture and make sure that it matches up with your reality. Because if your girl had a mouth all through your dating phase and you think I'm going to give her this ring so she can shut up, she's just going to find something else to have a mouth about. It's going to be your hygiene. It's going to be the money. It's going to be getting her a bigger house. Like, being married to someone does not change them for the better.
At all.
Now, Russell's a better version of himself, but I have to deal with him 100% of the time. Every day we get up together and every day we go to bed together, and every day is not roses. And when it's bad, it's really bad because you don't see that picture before you get married. And it feels like everything that you dreamed of is crumbling when y'all not on the same page.
Most of the time it's roses, though.
Yeah. It's about 50-50.
Don't do that. Franklin Riley says husbands are supposed to cover and protect the family, not batter and bruise. And you get handcuffs for that, bro. That part.
Yeah, he also says marriage is a mirror that is supposed to show us who we both are.
Who said that?
Franklin.
Man,
Franklin said
you
that
spitting,
too.
brother.
Shanika and Renee are both very toxic and said, I don't mind arguing.
No, they're quoting you. They're quoting you. You said that.
No, Renee's agreeing. Renee done reveal herself too many times in
this
chat.
Don't argue at all. Sierra says it's the way she said it.
I don't, though. I grew up in that. I don't know if that was this episode or the last episode where I talked about that. Like, that's just how my family talked to each other. Everything sounded like an argument. You come to a barbecue or something, you think a whole fight about to break out. Like, I'm used to that.
Me too. I just assessed, I don't want to live like that. It's not fun.
It's much better your way. Okay. That's why I conform. You've shown me the error in my ways. Like,
I don't want to live like that.
I'm so confrontational to a fault, right? So for me, an argument ain't nothing. An argument don't mean that our relationship is over just because we argue. But I've also learned that when we talk about our feelings and we can accurately depict what's going on in the inside and then work to get to a better place, that after feeling, when we have solved it, feels much better than when we screamed at each other and then we were like, you know what, I hurt your feelings and I'm sorry. Now we got to work through that and the problem that was there before.
Yeah.
It's much better your way, but I still don't mind arguing.
I don't believe you. I think you've changed.
I really don't. I be going back and forth with these kids all the time.
Oh, Lord.
Same, Brandy. I definitely go to every fight I'm invited to. Yeah, but I will say I'm getting better. I'm getting better because I'm not going into every fight that I'm invited to because that's something different. I don't mind arguing with him because I know it's never going to go to a place where it shouldn't go. But I'm not arguing with nobody off the street. I'm not arguing with nobody that I'm not invested in. I'm not about to sit and go back and forth with you about something that don't matter.
I genuinely don't like arguing because I don't like who I am when I'm mad. It's not easily accessed. But when I go there, it's hard for, I'm emotional. I'm sensitive. So when I go there, I lose control of what I say. I got my limits. Like, I ain't going to call you out your name or something, but I'm going to hurt your feelings. Like, I'm gonna hurt your feelings. And I genuinely I'm like, that's not gonna solve nothing. Like, even if it feel good in the moment, I ain't trying to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I be reading the comments.
I know.
What you were saying was very serious, and I'm not.
No, you good. I'm so glad she changed a little.
Candace, whose jacket is this? I'll never forget that day. She talking about that day at the football game, and I took that lady jacket and wiped the bleachers with it.
I don't remember that.
And she was standing right there. But how you not gonna say nothing? I said, "Who jacket is this?" She right there. Don't say nothing. Well, the bleachers wet, so I'm about to wipe my butt with it, sis, so I can sit down. She was like, "Oh, that's my jacket." Afterwards, oops, my bad. Here you go.
Oh my God. Oh my God. See,
no, that person's still there.
Was I there?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
I don't really give no.
I'm glad I missed that. Cheryl talking about something I can't picture us arguing.
He doesn't really argue.
I can argue.
Not with me.
Baby, we argue.
We don't argue.
I don't fight. Now, there's a difference between arguing and fighting. I'm not going to fight with you. Like, I'm not going to be, shut up, shut up. You know, I'm not doing that. First of all,
he's not
doing
mean.
that.
He's not mean. Like, we will argue a point or a fact back and forth, but he's not mean. He's not aggressive. So,
but when I think I'm right,
he's obnoxious. Now, he is obnoxious.
Now, that right
he got
there.
that down pat.
Look.
But he's not rude or aggressive or mean or violent in any way. So, yeah, if that's what you picture as far as arguing, that's not him at all.
Not you trying to argue about arguing.
That's the type of stuff that we argue about. Stuff that don't matter at all in the grand scheme of things.
For real.
Yeah, we
real.
had an hour and a half.
Look at us. Just spending time with each other.
So before we wrap up, I threw out the idea of doing a live episode. So much like the kickbacks, but it's actually us recording the episode that's going to drop Tuesday, but just being live and having chat feedback. So if we say something right there on the episode and you all have a reaction, it would be in real time while the episode is recording. So I hope that we can make that happen. I don't know if it'll be like an announced thing because we usually just record sometime on Sunday. But if you see a live notification on one of those Sundays, that's what's happening. So hop on and kick it with us.
For sure. That'll give you a chance, especially if we have guests, to ask questions and be involved with that. Because usually when we have guests, it's hard to get them on the kickbacks.
Yes, that's true.
So it will give you a way to kind of engage and interact with them. So that will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Can Russ remember to hit the button? Yeah. That's the last time y'all get to mention it, though. After this live end, you can't say nothing about it no more.
You know they don't listen to that. You the one that put me out there. You ain't have to do that.
Oh, yes, I did. Because at that point, that episode was too good. I didn't even believe you. Like, when you were like, babe, I literally thought you were joking. All the way till we got upstairs. I was like, he just playing with me. Turns out. So, after this, y'all can't be hopping on my bed. I gotta hop off my bag.
Yeah.
Ooh, Candy said she got badges now. It only took a whole year. It only took a whole year. Charity says we love you anyway, Raz.
Thank you.
So yeah, why we on here with y'all? What y'all think about moving the live to Thursday? What say ye? Heart, thumbs up, thumbs down. Y'all like Wednesday? Y'all like kicking it? Y'all pretty much set y'all watches to Wednesday. Oh, I bent my cheek. Hold on, you gotta talk. Oh.
That's not funny. That's not funny. Yeah, so the live, what y'all think about moving it to Thursday? You okay?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a different type of pain. Does it hurt worse when you bite your tongue in your cheek?
Our cheek. Well, we got a lot of feedback for Thursday.
Oh,
yes. Sierra says, please no. Sierra must have soccer on Thursday. I remind y'all, don't worry. Either works. All right. Maybe we'll switch it up from time to time. Or maybe we'll carry out this season on dang, see, it's a lot of people saying Thursday. Sierra, why you can't do Thursday?
After this soccer season, you'll be good.
She's always in soccer season.
Oh, that's right.
All right, Sierra, text me why you can't do Thursdays. But it was just really like we had a lot of engagement on Thursday. Oh, we have soccer on them nights. Oh, my son's gonna be playing soccer now.
Oh, capitalize on we.
Yeah.
What time are the games?
Okay. We'll keep it on Wednesdays for now. We'll work it out.
What time are the games?
Huh?
What time are the games? Are they like in the
She
morning?
She says I'll switch. I'll try. We'll keep it on Wednesday until we can work it out where it works out for the most of the people. Because Sierra been rocking with us for a long time. I don't want to leave her out the game. But
we'll let y'all know.
Candace was so adamant about Thursday. She's gonna say, "Okay, Wednesday, fine."
That's one person who can't do it.
No, we gonna work it out. We gonna work it out. We gonna let y'all know what we decide. Okay.
All right. Listen, y'all. As always, new episodes on Tuesday. YouTube will be back on Tuesday as well. Special guests coming, so set your calendars for that. I don't know. Were you saying no, we won't be live for that one, right?
Which one? With Veronica?
Yeah.
No, we got too much. We got to use the computer for that. So
for sure. So, okay. Yep.
All right, y'all. We out. Russell put the Cash App in the chat. If you feeling generous tonight, you can hit us up at $ what they never told us and bless our Cash App.
And I want to thank those of you guys who have blessed the Cash App. Y'all have no idea how much that blesses us and how it allows us to keep doing this. Everything costs money. Every time we upload an episode, it costs. Us going live right now, the software that we're using costs monthly. So anything you guys give helps us keep pushing it forward. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And y'all are family.
And always remember, we love.